So in this video, I'm going to be joining in with the picture book tag, but I'm also going to be talking about Booktube, judgment, and does Booktube bring us down? So welcome back to the second novel thoughts video. I want to share some thoughts around quite a tricky subject, really, the subject of online judgment or online hate on Booktube. Does Booktube bring you down, or any space on YouTube, can it bring you down? Ask any content creator and they will tell you, yeah, at any point there can be somebody waiting to pounce and bring you down. And from the other side of the camera too, as a viewer of YouTube videos, I can see viewers as well getting the same sort of treatment in comment sections. I have found pockets where this hate and judgment can really escalate. I am a doll collector. I am an adult doll collector. I started collecting dolls at 22. Recently, in the last few years, I've also collected dolls' houses. I love it. It brings me joy. It brings me peace. It brings my blood pressure down, believe it or not. For me, it's an artistic expression as well. I love doll art, and it's interlaced completely with story, but it is something that is traditionally thought of as meant for children, meant for kids, meant for children. On my DollTube channel, I have received some serious hate over the years. I've had people tell me to get a life. I've had people tell me I'm ridiculous. I've had people tell me to grow up. I've had people tell me I'm irresponsible. I've had people leave comments like, please tell me this is ironic and you don't mean this. Some pretty horrible accusations have gone down over there. So last month, when I saw the tag, the picture this tag, encouraging adults to read picture books, I thought to myself, okay, Booktube, let's see if I get any comments like that, because picture books are also not meant for adults, supposedly. They're meant for kids, and I wanted to talk about that in this video while I show you one of my favorite picture books that I read for the picture this tag. Now, this is by the wonderful Jane Ray. Now, when I was a Key Stage 1 primary school teacher in England, that's the 5-year-old kids, I would often use Jane Ray's books. I can remember I used the Noah's Ark book for religious studies with the kids, and they loved the pictures so much. Jane Ray has got this wonderful style, and I've got a collection of her books, as you can see here. So this one is my book. This one is also my book. This one I got from the library. So why are picture books for everybody? I think it's because we bring our adult self to these things and it transforms them. That doesn't mean to say we need a justification to love these things, because we absolutely don't. It doesn't mean that we can't enjoy these things for the same reason as kids enjoy them. We can absolutely do that, but just by the very fact we are adult, we also bring our adult minds, our adult thought processes, and our life experiences to these things as well. And I think this book is a great indicator of that. So this is the Doll's House Fairy book. So here we've literally got a full page of the book, which is the doll's house, and we meet Rosie, the little girl who absolutely loves her doll's house. We find out that she plays with her doll's house with her dad, and it's her favourite time of the day. They wake up early, they do craft activities to make things for the doll's house, and it's just a wonderful time. But one day she wakes up and she discovers that her dad isn't there. Her dad has been rushed to hospital in the night and he is ill. So she runs to her doll's house and is really surprised because she finds it completely ransacked and destroyed. And in the bed she discovers a fairy So this is Thistle the fairy sleeping in the bed, having destroyed it all. And Thistle is incredibly messy. She's also incredibly hungry. She doesn't want any of the pretend food. She sends Rosie out into the garden to collect some food for her. Rosie collects berries and leaves, but the fairy, she says she just wants crisps, which she spills everywhere. She spills the cups of water. She is really messy. She tells Rosie to keep her secret as well. She tears her wings. She carries on making a mess all through that day. Later in the day, she finds out that her dad is getting a little bit better as Rosie continues to play with Thistle the fairy. And you can see some of these habits are rubbing off on Rosie. You can see the mess in her room. You can see the doll's house is very much trashed again. You can see all the mess in here. Now eventually, thank goodness, Dad gets better and comes home to a celebration party. Rosie tells her dad before he goes to the doll's house that there was a fairy there who made a mess but kept her company. So Dad comes up to the doll's house and Thistle has gone, and Rosie has to plead her case that the fairy really was real, which Dad listens to as he helps her tidy her room and the doll's house all again. And we see here that Thistle's wing has now fixed and she leaves. So that is the story of Thistle the fairy with her broken wing, who ransacks the doll's house while Rosie's dad is away. It's a beautiful story of make-believe, of fairies, of playtime, and like a child going through a tough time but having a fairy to keep her company. And if we're reading that as a child, we can just take that at face value. This is the story of the most magical time for this little girl who had a real life fairy come to stay. However, reading this with the eyes and the understanding and the life experience of an adult, we might read this as Thistle isn't really real, and this is just Rosie acting out her fear and her worries with a make-believe fairy to get her through this difficult time. It speaks a little bit of anger at Dad for not being there as well, and that child's inability to process these big emotions, which can often play out in the behaviours that we wouldn't necessarily want to see as adults, like in room trashing, in going to a favourite pastime and wrecking it because Dad is no longer there and she can't cope with those big feelings. So you can see already as an adult the book is different because we brought something different to it. So as an adult we're learning something as well. The child is entranced in this story of make-believe, but we are learning as an adult that children find it hard to process emotions. If we're parenting a child and they're scribbling all over the walls and their behaviour has suddenly completely changed, then perhaps there's something else going on. There are lessons here for adults as well as the magic for children. And of course, if you were reading this with a child that was going through something similar, it also gives you an amazing opportunity to talk to the child and to point out that difference in meaning, to say, oh my gosh, do you remember when you wrote on the walls and you were upset, weren't you? I wonder what Rosie is upset about, and the fairy. And that's why these books are so fantastic, but it does show that there is that double meaning. Of course, when Dad comes back, there is no fairy there, and he just patiently helps Rosie to resettle, to re-regulate her emotions, and that is all played out in the setting of a doll's house. So the doll's house here becomes symbolic for a child's emotions, or even the adult's emotions. I bet Dad here in this picture is re-regulating his fear and his emotions at having been away ill for so long, and that is just such a beautiful description, not only of why I love picture books, because there's something for adults as well as kids in there, but also why I love dolls' houses, because I think dolls' houses allow you to play out stories and emotions within their rooms. But you might not, of course, feel that way about dolls' houses in particular, but you might have your own hobby that might be classed as something for kids. You might like collecting figurines that are really meant for kids. You might like teddies. I know a lot of people collect teddies that really meant for kids. I know colouring books have made a comeback recently, and they're something that have bridged that gap between kids and adults. It's now nobody raises an eye at adult colouring books. You might like collecting Star Wars figures, again really marketed for kids, and you might have felt judgment or even hate or mockery because of that hobby. But I'm here today with this book to say, look at what's in there for you that you access with an adult mind. They are meant for all ages, and I think, having looked at this beautiful picture long enough, I think it's time to take you downstairs and show you my main doll's house, because I've actually got about 4. So projecting an adult voice and an adult viewpoint into something that society says isn't meant for us. Gosh, my doll's house is a part of this. I remember when I first got this doll's house, this I picked up just for a few pounds, believe it or not. When I first picked it up, there were a few people that shamed me. Why on earth do you want a doll's house? This is like ridiculous. Now, there's lights all around because I'm currently about to clean it and rearrange it, but let's just go through what's in here at the moment. So there are things that I decorated for Halloween that I loved, and I have not wanted to take them down because I think they look so cool, because they match also these sort of crow skeletons with this ghost bride. And I love these, they're sometimes called pose dolls, but their proper name is Bradley dolls, and they were called pose dolls, if I can even speak, because you can pose the fingers. So for me, they're very gothic. They link to my gothic reading and my gothic bookshelves. You can see I've given this pose doll a cat familiar. She's not your average black witch. She's pink, so she's got a pink cat as well, and she has got a table that she can do spells on with mushrooms, and she is really into getting messages from reading fairy tales. So again, it links to my bookshelves, fairy tale reading. Now, you might think, well, what is all of this? Now, this is vision for me. I work a lot with the idea of octopus energy, and that idea of being able to escape things that are no longer meant for you. So this is actually a piece of my artwork which I wanted to fix on the wall at the back here, because you can see at the moment I have stickers on the back. You know, it's all decorated with these stickers, as you do. I am going to change the look of this into kind of a more sort of witchy vibe, and this was a unit from a plant stand. It had these fake plants in like that, but I wanted to put my fake plants in separate. The plan for this is to turn this into circular stained glass windows over that bit of window there, and to turn this into a witchy galleried library. I know, you got to stay with me here, I haven't done it yet. But this whole top floor is about learning to move on, and the books for that, so fairy tales, deity books, pagan books. The library's going to be up there. In that library I want to make mini craft books I can put messages in, and it becomes like a whole working sort of manifestation floor of the house, which I love. Now, on the roof I started collecting dragons. Just done the wonderful dragon book tag. again, there's a cross into our reading and like how we grow from our reading. If you believe that you can read like a story and grow, then there's no difference to making stories up with objects like this that also help you to grow. I think people dismiss this because it's dolls and dolls houses, and you're either crazy if you're doing this as an adult, some people say, or you're childish. But it's the same with reading the picture books. You can bring something very deep and complex and layered, but still like play and fun to something like this. This middle room here was around ideas of creativity, and this corner is all about my spiritual journey. So you've got the Easter rabbit and the lamb and Mary. The white horse is to do with deity work around the Morrigan. The swan is to do with deity work around Bridget. So I have a very eclectic spiritual history, and this is somewhere, a chair for me to sit to contemplate that. And then down here you can see this is an absolute mess, but I am turning this more into sort of a connecting with nature space. Here I've got a tin plaque ready to go on the wall: gardening because murder is wrong. My garden saved me in a time when like murder could have been committed, let's just say. In the kitchen, what on earth is all of this, you might say? This is a box of things I tipped out last night that I've been collecting from charity shops that may be useful. Look, I found a Taylor Swift Midnight's chair. If you know the Eras tour, you'll know. I am going to clear all this out, and I am going to rejig this now, and I've got these lights here that I think would look better in there. So this is what you call the cracking egg stage. I've got the stuff everywhere now. But I wanted to just talk about that symbolism, because I think that symbolism, which we get in our storybooks and we also get in picture books, which can change as we get older, is very much found in this piece, which actually is a framed piece of old carpet. So what on earth does that symbolise? Well, for a start, I've put it there as the base of kind of this nature room, because I have pink roses in my garden, and my garden was the first thing that pulled me back to myself after getting out of a very terrible marriage that was full of DV, and I'd lost myself when I got out of that marriage. The garden was incredible, and the roses hadn't bloomed for about 4 years, and that first summer in the garden I woke up one morning to hundreds of pink roses, and it was just so symbolic. So not only does it have the roses on, but I picked this up from a little auction at the top of a mountain in Wales that me and my then boyfriend, after my marriage, had heard about, and we found this tiny little auction in this village hall, and I got the most beautiful old rug for my caravan, but I also bought this as well. And that guy, although we're not together anymore, he taught me that not all men are the same, and he just was a great friend, still is. Really cared for me, really looked after me. There was no divisiveness, there was no betrayals, there was no lying. Just a great, cool guy. So it's things that support you, and then nature as well. Nature supported me. So I love that for in there. So it kind of sets the tone for that room. It's like a carpet under glass because it's so precious to me. Loads and loads of symbology in that, but it's there because I've thought that through, and I've made the connections, and I think we can get that in our stories. Definitely stories that are designed for a different age group. Like, think through what those storybooks are saying at one level to a child, but then put your life experience onto it. Now what is it saying? It's very different. For somebody else, this is just a piece of old carpet in a frame which is pretty. For me, that's symbolic of portals through to healing. So find your connections when you pick up those books, and you'll find that it's just a really fun, playful way to really get some aha moments in your reading life. So here it is now, all cleaned out with new lights added, which I'm going to show you in a minute, because they're colour changing lights, which adds in colour symbology as well. So there are so many factors here in this doll's house for me to be able to tell stories. We've got the setting, we've got the characters, and here we go. We have the different coloured lights. I'm viewing these lights and the fact I can change the colour of them, almost like genres in books. But I hope through showing you this doll's house, I've shown you that with the different symbologies that you can bring with an adult mindset to these things, we do make them more useful and available and fabulous to work with for all ages. And it's the same with the picture books. Picture books are literally for every age group and every age range. Middle grade are for all ages, and YA as well. And I know sometimes I've seen like judgments passed about people reading these types of books. So for your reading, for picture books, for any age group of books, for your collections, for your passions, for your childhood nostalgic toys, or for any hobby that you want to do that you feel shamed for because you're too old for it, I hope this video will be your green flag to ignore the hate, to ignore the judgment, and to not let YouTube or anybody bring you down in these hobbies, because they truly are for everybody. And don't think you're alone as well in loving these hobbies. I know just from Dolltube there are so many adults that love and collect dolls and do things with dolls' houses. I know that there'll be some of you watching as well, so I'm going to show you the different things I added. Look, I put this gorgeous little brass teapot which I found for like 5p from the charity shop on the table. I've put some little bells in here, that's for cleansing the space. Both of those little ornaments are bells. Still got that library to do, that will be for another day. I've added a unicorn on the stairs, oh, and a little wise old owl overlooking my spiritual corner. The wise old owl, that was 5p in a charity shop. So Taylor Swift's chair has gone out there, and I've put a little telephone on top of the lift. This is a lift. It's a lift of love. That's to do with relationships. I've used one of the pots that one of the plants was in to make a little table, and look at this gorgeous ceramic sort of tea set. I found that for £1 in a charity shop. I found this for 20p. It's really heavy, that's solid brass. And I've put some saucepans out ready to start building things into the kitchen. I've got a little barrel there as well. Oh, I've just had so much fun, guys, and just not putting any extra meaning into it or any extra layers, and not like turning it into anything profound. Just the fact that I've had fun doing this, it's made me smile. It's worth doing just for that. And I think life is serious and life is tough. We escape into our books. Why don't we escape into hobbies like this without feeling shame? I've put my favourite pebble in there. It's got no meaning, but I love it. It's made me smile. So I hope this is your green light, guys. So a green light for you to pick up picture books. That was the whole point of the Picture This book tag, and I love it for that. I want to say thank you to all the ladies that ran the Picture This book tag. I will put all the links in. Also to remember the spirit of Alice as well. Alice from the Giant Bookshelf, who would, I think, have really approved of dolls' houses. And I posed a question at the beginning of this video: does Booktube bring you down? Well, do you know what? Although some people might try with book tags like this, I think it's a resounding no. Booktube does not bring me down. Booktube brings me joy, brings me opportunities to share things like this with you all, and gives me encouragement to be my wild and playful and unashamed self. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.